course, we're going to go ahead and pick out our TBR for the month. Hello my lovelies, welcome back. My name is Viry for those of you who are new here. I'm sorry y'all. I was working on a video. It's actually going to be uploaded after this one. It was supposed to be uploaded last Monday and I did not upload because I was just overwhelmed. I've been very stressed. Work has been hectic. I just needed a weekend where I was not spending my whole weekend editing. I had decided to postpone it. So that video that I'm working for y'all will be coming out next week instead. So apologies for not giving y'all a heads up, but here we are, start of the new month. Of course, we're going to go ahead and pick out our TBR for the month. I don't have much else to say for the intro. Grab a drink, get cozy, and let's get started with this video. Just like last time, we're actually going to go ahead and pick out TBR prompts from our TBR jar. Basically, this is going to help us figure out what book we're going to be reading for this month. A fun little surprise, as you all probably saw on the thumbnail or title, we're actually going to be relying on the library and Libby and my Kindle and free quote-unquote choices that I have. That also means reading any books that I have at home. Do I have any at home? There is an exception, and that is, I believe, 2 books that I wanted to purchase separately. But other than that, we're going to try to pick everything from the library. That's because I am going on a trip this month. So I'm limiting my spending for the month, and that includes buying books. Also, side note, my hand, same hand by the way. I have a juicy callus from earlier. This is the first time I get one like this. I do pull for those of you who don't know, and my hands are like not so happy. This one's fine, but this one is just like, yeah. If y'all see that, it's just my sport. It's my sport injuries. Anyway, that's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and pick out our first prompt. So we've been shaking it this whole time, and let's see what it says. Okay, we got this one. A book that is over 400 pages. I think we can do this. I think this one shouldn't be terrible because I think the book that I want to read that I might buy is over 400 pages. So we do have something in mind for that. Okay, this one jumped out at me. So let's see what it says. A book with a number in the title. So prompt number 2. The fun part about going to the library is that I'm going to be browsing for books. So we'll definitely see if we can find something that fits this prompt. I think in total, I might pick out 6 prompts. Okay, prompt number 3. A book you discovered on social media. Oh, this one's definitely going to have to be a Kindle pick. A lot of my Kindle picks are from social media. Okay, prompt number 4. A book with the title that is 2 words or less. I think there's a few books on my specific TBR, and again, library. Do I say library? Weird. Library. Prompt number 5. A book with a main character that starts with A, B, or C. Prompt number 6. A book that does not start with the. Okay, I think that's all we're going to do for our prompts. This is going to be fun. If I cannot find all 6 prompts, I'll pick from my Kindle picks after we come back. Let's head on over to the library.
What if we make believe, hide away amongst the trees, making potions out of leaves, hide and seek in closets empty. If you're the first person to find me, just don't tell them what you've seen. So I think that I might make up for lost time that we wasted. So next time.
Okay, we're back, and oh boy, did I do some damage at the library. Of course, as y'all saw, I did stop by Barnes & Noble to buy one singular book, and if I'm being honest, I'm pretty good at my self-restraint. Yes, there's times where I go crazy, but I'm actually very impressed with myself of how strict I am with my rules on not buying books. I did buy one, as I mentioned I was going to, because I want to continue the series that I'm reading. Let's just talk about that one really quick. I did buy the 4th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinneman, and that that is The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods. This one's chunky, chunky, chunky. I do have the 5th and the 7th book, which is why I wanted to continue the series so I could get to the books that I have at home. I did get those for free. I always mention this. And this actually does fulfill one of my TBR prompts, and that is a book that is over 400 pages. This one, I knew right away when I pulled that TBR prompt that this was going to fit that. I did not know how many pages, but I have seen how chunky these books have been getting. This has, without spoiling myself, 589 pages. TBR prompt number 1 completed, and that is our first book in our TBR. Let's talk about the book I have at home. I did have one that I was going to read, then my Libby picks, and then my actual library haul. I promise we'll get to it. I just want to leave those for last because it's a lot of books. So the next book that I could read that I have at home is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. This is the 2nd book in the Hunger Games series, and I bought the whole box set last month, so I'm going to be reading these basically whenever I want. I do want to read this one, and I might even read the 3rd one this month, but at least for now, this is going to be part of our June TBR. This also fulfills one of the TBR prompts. So this one is a book with a title that is 2 words or less, and this is Catching Fire. So this one fits that prompt, plus my Libby pick, which we will transition to now. So number 2 in my TBR. And now the other one that fits that same prompt, I got this book through Libby, and I just got it literally this morning, and that is Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, which has been on my TBR for quite a bit. So I really do want to read it. I'll be reading it on my Kindle through Libby. That also fulfills the less than 2 words on the title because it's called Dark Places. And that one is a thriller. I have not read this author, but I've heard that this book specifically is really good. And I've been feeling thrillers. As you will see, I got multiple thrillers. TBR prompt number 2 fulfilled. And then the next book that I got from Libby, also this morning, I literally get them all at the same time, I swear, is a memoir actually. And it's one of the memoirs that I have been really looking forward to reading. And now that I'm almost done with the show, I really want to read this. And since I got it already through Libby and I have like 2 more seasons of the show left, I thought, why not? And that is Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lentz. And this is a memoir from one of the actresses in One Tree Hill. Haley is the character, if you know the show. So I'm very interested in reading this because it's about her life being in a cult while filming for the show. And yeah, I did get it through Libby, and I will be reading it on my Kindle. And I also got the audiobook for that one at the same time. I will probably be doing immersive reading for that. Now let's move on to my library haul. I got 6 books in total, okay? Let's start off with this prompt over here because this one fits 3 and I just couldn't decide. And that is a book that does not start with the in the title. The first one that I picked is also another one that has been in my TBR for a while and I could not give it up. I just have to read it. And that is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. This is a romance book, and The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston is one of my all-time favorite books. I love that book. It's one of my favorite romance books. I really like Ashley Poston because there's like a bit of like magic in it without it being like a fantasy book. It's just like a little magical twist, magical realism. So add that to my TBR, and I believe that is the 5th book. Really? The 5th book already? Oh God. Okay, the other book that fulfills the prompt that we're on is My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This is one of those books that I keep seeing pop up, not only on my Goodreads recommended or my Fable recommended, but like other booktubers. I see people talk about this book and there's a lot of mixed reviews. I don't really know what it's about, but the fact that it's called My Husband's Wife, I'm already intrigued. I'm really into thrillers. I usually get really heavily into thrillers around summertime. I'm part of that summerween, I guess. Not necessarily because I'm like anticipating Halloween, although fall is my favorite season. It's mostly because I'm usually burnt out of romances or romantasy by this time. So I tend to gravitate a lot to like literary fiction and thrillers around this time. Here you go, another thriller. This is the 6th book. I lost count, so my counter will keep count of this. The final book that fits that TBR prompt, A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain. This is another one of those books that I just see the cover all the time at Barnes & Noble. I see it like everywhere. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about it, even though I'm pretty sure this is popular on Book Talk, or it was. And just from the kind of like print of the book, this feels like an indie book as well. And I think this is part of a interconnected series. I don't know. I was just very interested. There was this whole section of monster romances at the library, and I'm just like,
ooh, what do they have there?
they had so many good picks, but this one just called my name because again, I always see this cover at Barnes & Noble, and I feel like this is a good way of being able to read this book without having to commit to buying it. And I know I could probably pick this up on Kindle Unlimited as well, but I always forget it exists until it's like physically in my face. So again, I couldn't pass up. These last three just conveniently were able to fit in that TBR prompt, and they were just books that I could not for the life of me just give up. So that's all for that TBR prompt. We were able to fulfill that one. We're doing so good this time. Now the next ones, I actually chose them specifically for the TBR prompts, and they're all books I've been eyeing for a while. The next prompt that we have on here is a book with a number in the title, and that is Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood. I primarily picked this one because of how small it is, and I don't mind an Ali Hazelwood book. I am not the type of person who can binge her books because they're very copy-paste for me, but I do like an Ali Hazelwood book here and there. I've read almost every Ali Hazelwood book. I just don't own them. I only own like 2 of them. This one has the number 2 right here. I was happy that that fit the prompt. If not, I was going to get it anyway, but I'm glad it did. The next prompt is a book with a main character that starts with A, B, or C. This one was a little bit hard, mostly because I really had to look at the synopsis and figure out who the main character was and what their name was. I actually did have a hard time. This was the last book I found, but I'm very excited. Another thriller. This one is The House Across the Lake by Rayleigh Sager. I have no idea what this book is about. I think, if I'm correct, it might be a different one. I think it's about a woman that spies on her neighbors from across the lake. I think that's what this one's about. If not, then I'm talking about a completely different book. Other than that, I have no idea what this is about. I loved The Only One Left by Rayleigh Sager. I really wanted to read another book by this author. I really think he has really good writing. The main character's name is Casey, so it fulfills our prompt. Add that to my TBR. No idea what number we're in at this point. And then this last book is going to be a little bit confusing to explain because I believe it had a change of title, but I at least was able to get the indie version at the library, and that's La Vie de Guinevere by Paula Laferretti. I don't know if that's how you say the last name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. This book fulfills a book you discovered on social media. I remember when this author was just talking about writing this book. I think she had just started writing this book and she was starting to promote herself on social media and stuff like that. She was really small at the time, and I have seen this book in a special edition with a new title. It's called The Once and Future Queen. It is the same book if I am correct. Considering that I've seen it at Barnes & Noble at this point, I think it got picked up by a publisher and the name changed and it's like out on hardcover with like pretty sprayed edges. I really want a version of that book, but rather than jumping into another fantasy book, which I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy, I picked it up at the library. I was so surprised to see it at the library, especially the indie version. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this is about a woman during current times who gets taken back during Merlin Camelot time. And she's a queen or something like that of that time. I don't know. From what I remember, it kind of gives a little bit of Outlander vibes. And I was very excited to read this book. Now that it's out, I'm finally able to read it. So if I enjoy this enough, this is another book where I will be buying the physical copy. But yeah, that is my library haul. Those are all the books that I got. Let's go over my TBR one last time because I have absolutely no idea how many books I'm actually reading this month. On Libby, I'm reading Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I will also be reading The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods by Matt Dinniman, Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, La Vie de Guinevere by Paula Laferretti, The House Across the Lake by Rayleigh Sager, Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood, A Soul to Keep by Opal Rain, My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney, and Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. In total, we're reading 9 books for June. But yeah, my camera's about to die, so let's wrap it up. Let me know down in the comments below, what are you reading for June? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already and you would like to, please subscribe. I usually make book content and now and then I make some lifestyle vlogs. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a beautiful day and I will see y'all next time. Bye!